Welcome to episode 84 of the Twig Snapper Podcast. Today I'm joined by Connor Smith. He's the guy who played in the ACHA and made it pro afterwards. He kind of proved that you can go play club hockey and you could still make a little bit of money doing what, playing the game you love after. So, Connor, thanks for joining me. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. A Michigan guy, another Michigander, except
Yes,
for
sir.
you're a troll. So, I'm a Youper, but not that really matters. You're from what? Pinckney? Pinckney? However you say. I've
Yes,
never known. How do you say that?
Pinckney.
Okay, I saw a video. I looked it up, and there was like the Miami Dolphins. Some guy must be from your town or
Oh
something.
yeah. I think he's 3 years older than me. His younger brother was in my class, but
Okay,
he played football for Pinckney, and then he went on to play for Ferris for 4 years, maybe five, and then signed with. I think he started with I want to say the Eagles,
yeah.
maybe, and then got traded to Miami. I'm not 100% sure where he started, but yeah, he's been in Miami for a few years now.
They were trying to like pronounce the town name, and none of them can do it. And I have honestly never been able to do it either. It's kind of that extra N in there that just kind of trips you up.
Yeah, nobody knows how to pronounce it correctly unless you're from
Unless,
that
yeah.
area.
Yeah. So you played Michigan high school hockey all growing up. Did you guys ever play any UP teams?
Yeah, so my team went every year and did like a trip up like north. My first year I went up to Cadillac and played a few teams there in a showcase, and then
Okay.
I'm trying to think. We went up to like, oh God, where's Michigan Tech? What's that?
Houghton.
Houghton. We went up there and played Houghton
Okay.
and a few other teams, and we got pumped. It just wasn't fun. We were not a very
What
good school team.
what years would those have been when you came up to Houghton?
So I graduated in 2016, so it would have been 2014, 15 or 2015, 16.
Okay. Yeah. So different, like an older group of guys. Cause I'm a 2019 Houghton graduate. I didn't play Houghton hockey. I actually didn't play hockey growing up. I hated skating.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I like throwing on the skates and going to play some, pickup at an ODR now, and kind of wish I would have stuck with it when I was younger, but it's just the way it works out.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, I never remember like you guys playing them when I was in high school. So that's because I would have been
Yeah, you'd have been
whatever
you'd have been a
freshman.
freshman when I was a
Yeah,
junior or senior.
yeah. So that's when you guys would have played them, not when like all of the guys I knew were playing. All
Yeah.
right. Well, and you said you guys got pumped.
We weren't that great of a hockey team, that's for sure, but it was fun. I mean, playing for a school is fun. I kind
Yeah.
of Part of me wishes I would have went and stuck with AAA, but it just wasn't in the cards. We didn't have the money for it and all that. So, I mean, high school I could get all my family and relatives and stuff to go play in our golf outing my whole season and be paid for. And then you play AAA and it's 20 grand for a year.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Michigan high school hockey is not bad. Like competition wise, you can develop and become a
yeah.
good player, like playing all your time. And I mean, I guess I don't know what kind of teams you guys regularly played. What were your rivals?
Well, my freshman and sophomore year, we played Howell a
Oh
lot,
yeah.
and yeah, we beat them my freshman year, I want to say, for like the first time in like 20 years. So it wasn't really a rivalry. It was just like we happened to beat them once.
Yeah.
And after my sophomore year, we switched to another division, and we played like I guess I could say like Grand Blanc was probably our rival at that point because we played them two or three times a year. We always played Heartland. We never
Oh
won.
yeah. Yeah.
We never did well.
I think Houghton just beat Heartland for I don't know the first time ever or something this past season.
Really?
I think they always lost to them. Always be close, but they beat them for like the first time. I mean, Heartland's always unreal. So
Well, yeah, I mean, it definitely helps when you like go to a high school where there's a rink in your town. Like we had to drive
yeah.
30 minutes to Chelsea just to
Oh
practice.
yeah, that
That
kind of
kind of stuff.
sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you're right. Like having a rink or multiple rinks in your town obviously makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely. You
Hard,
get a lot
hard.
better hockey players when there's a rink within a couple miles compared to 30 minutes away.
Did you guys even have any like ODRs and stuff for growing up? And
I mean, we have a bunch of lakes around there. Like, I don't know if you know, like
okay,
we have like a couple different chain of lakes that are there. They're connected by a river. So
so you
like that's
guys
like the
skate on the lakes?
yeah, oh yeah. Like my dad lives on a lake, so we always made a rink out back, and everybody'd come over and hang out, and we'd sit out there and play hockey for hours.
Yeah, I mean that's
Uh,
pretty sweet.
yeah, we had like big construction lights that my dad hung up in the tree so that we
Oh
could play
yeah,
in the dark too. And then we had like those light up pucks and everything. So we'd be out there for hours on end.
oh yeah. Once in a while, when the canal, I mean, it freezes over every year, but if it freezes good and smooth, people, scrape off some snow and play on the
Right.
canal. But not a ton because you just get so much snow on there that you really can't. Like,
Yeah,
it's just not
especially
worth it.
especially up in the UP, you get feet
Yeah,
of snow rather than inches like we get down here.
yeah, I get absolutely dumped. So then coming out of high school, you played in the SIJHL, then you played in the NAL for your junior career. Would you have 3 years of juniors?
Yeah, so I played my first year in the SIJHL, and then over the summer I got traded to the SJ, which was the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League.
Okay.
And then from there I signed with Odessa on the NAL. So those were my three teams I played for.
And when you started playing juniors, was like the ACHA club hockey, was that even on your radar? Or were you like, I want to go play NCAA hockey?
I was thinking more NCAA. Um, Honestly, I was just more worried about playing juniors. I didn't really like think too much about college yet. I'm
Yeah,
not a huge school guy, but
yeah.
yeah, I was more just focused on like just playing hockey and enjoying myself for a while.
So when did the ACHA enter the picture with Adrian?
It would have been my last year when I was in Odessa because our head coach for Adrian used to be a scout for Odessa, and he's a downriver guy from like Wyandotte or something like that.
Okay.
Can't remember the name of it. I'm blanking right now, but yeah, he's from down there, so he's like he knew who I was and everything. And then when I got there, he started talking to me. Had some other D3 offers, but it was just too much money. I just couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
So I just
Well,
wanted to be
I
close to
mean,
home. I mean, all three
yeah.
years of juniors, the closest I was 15 hours, so just
Right.
being an hour away from home was a lot nicer.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it all worked out the route you took. I mean, where you're
Yeah.
at now. I mean, I think the ACHA, I've talked about this with many people in different episodes, but I mean, it's an underrated league and it's definitely gaining some traction. That, what was it? The NC State North Carolina game. That was a huge helper. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
the media attention that got, that people started realizing like, hey, this is good hockey. Like, I mean, let's be honest, you guys could probably pump a few low end D3 teams. So you guys probably could have pumped Finlandia's tires.
Yeah. Yeah, before they folded probably, but
Yeah. I mean,
people people don't realize that it's like the top end teams are actually like better than a lot of D3 teams. Not a lot, but
oh,
like the
yeah.
end D3 teams. Like a
Yeah.
lot of the top end ACHA D1 teams could compete at the D3 level.
Oh,
Wouldn't be
easily.
like they wouldn't beat like the top D3 teams, but
No, you could be a middle
they'd give
team
the
at
mid
least.
yeah, they'd give the mid-range teams a pretty good game.
Yeah. And you could, Finlandia was probably one of the worst, teams in the country. I
Yeah.
think there was maybe one other team ranked lower than them or something if you like looked at the full D3 rankings. So, we're their bottom feeder before they folded. So you guys probably could have ran them. But then we got like Minot and Arizona State who are playing D1 exhibition games this upcoming season, which is gonna be kind of crazy.
Yeah, we had Liberty played Long Island the first or second year they were a team. UNLV had a couple this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah,
So I
they
mean,
played Alaska Anchorage or one of those Alaska teams.
yeah, it was I think it was Anchorage and think they also played Denver. I
Yeah,
think.
I think you're right. They played a couple.
Yeah. Yeah, they had a few, and I
So
mean, it's just like it's good to see that like happening because like it gives the ACHA more recognition, and then those like people that doubt the ACHA actually like give us props now because like we're playing these teams. I mean,
Yeah.
they were like close games, but like
No. But I mean, someday they could start getting a little closer. I mean, the ACHA is gaining traction. More kids understand that it's a route you can go, and you see guys signing at some level of pro, whether it's the FPHL or the SP, or a few guys going overseas coming out of
yeah,
the ACHA. Like, if you go in the ACHA, pro hockey does not, you don't have to close that door. That door can still be open,
right.
which I think is a huge draw for some guys. And I know other people have talked about the like it's not as stressful. It's playing like NCAA hockey. Like you can be able to take it, you can still take it seriously, but it's not the same like level of pressure necessarily, which makes it a little more enjoyable.
Yeah, it's definitely that was definitely a big part of like my decision too. Was like everybody craps on club and says, "Oh, it's ACHA hockey. It's not real hockey and all that stuff." But like, it was more enjoyable than like some of my buddies that play D3. Like they hate it. So like it's just more. It's more fun to just relax and not have to. I wouldn't say not have to work as hard because we still work hard and like do workouts and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
like you said, not have to deal with the pressure of an NCAA game and overthinking everything like that.
Yeah. And you lit up the league too. 178 points and 119 games. Were you keeping tabs on that as you went, like making sure you kept your scoring up?
No, I didn't really think about it as. I mean, we definitely played some bad teams, so
Huh.
that
There's some
definitely
pretty bad.
helped
There's some
pad the
bad
stats a
schools.
little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's quite a few 15-1 and 15-0
Yeah.
teams, and it's just yeah, a
I
few times.
think
Go ahead.
go ahead. No, you go.
A few times it got to the point where like we get to like 14 or 15 and coach says, "All right, no more shooting on net unless you're outside the blue line and stuff." And guys would be trying to like tee off slap shots from just outside the blue line trying to score and but
Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably one of the things that still gives the ACHA like a bad name. People see those teams that just get cranked and they're like, look, bad hockey. But you got to look at the like divider. Like at the halfway, those top teams are good teams, and there's going to be bottom feeders in every league. And obviously, some of these schools take it a lot more seriously than others, like you guys or Minot or you Mary, or a lot of
yeah,
these schools take it a lot more seriously than what is it? There's like a Rochester or something that's pretty bad, and
yeah.
um,
Rochester's bad, Eastern, Oakland.
yeah,
Uh,
Finlandia was bad when they had a club team. Northern's pretty bad. I think Tech's club team's all right. They're
I
not
know they had a club.
horrible. Yeah, they've got a D2 uh squad. I think, they'll go like 500. They'll be at. I mean, they're nothing special, but they're not. So yeah, I mean, it's a weird league. And one thing I don't think I've ever asked anyone with like the ACHA guests I've had on is, can you fight in the ACHA?
Oh, no, it's just
No?
I got in a few like wrestling matches and stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, there was a video that I saw a few times, but it was from one of our games where one of their guys hit my center. So I cross-checked him obviously, and then I fell on top of him and started wrestling with him, and then the other dude literally jumps over top of me and like tackles my buddy who's standing right behind me. Like I mean stuff like that happens, but there's
Yeah. No
I
drop
think
the
I saw
gloves and
I think I saw two. It was like guys ripped each other's helmets off and they were just already at that point, so they just decided to just fight. Like
yeah.
it's the suspension for it, but yeah, it's just it only happened a couple times.
That'd be a way to vault the ACHA higher. Like throw fighting in there, so you can't fight in the NCAA, but you could fight in the ACHA. You'd pull some guys from D3 for sure, like guys who are gonna go play in the D3 who are pretty solid hockey players who want to fight. They'd go down to the ACHA and play it. That's what I think. Like,
Yeah, I think that would definitely make it more entertaining too, but
yeah,
there would be a lot of like 18-year-olds fighting like 25-year-olds because you get the guys that
yeah,
go to juniors and then
Yeah.
go to ACHA, and then you get the guys that just go right from high school to ACHA. Like we played against kids that were on Pittsburgh. They were asking me how old they were, or how old I was, and I told him I was like, I'm 24, and the kid was like, holy shit, I'm only 18. Like I was literally playing against 18-year-olds, and I'm 24. So
I guess. Hey, but you could hit the show at like 20 years old and fight a guy who's 30 or 35
well,
or
right.
something. So I mean, I don't know. I bet there's a couple 18-year-olds out there that could just pummel a 24-year-old.
Oh, I'm sure there's quite a few of them, but yeah, I don't know. It's just
I
like,
guess there'd probably be some legal problems with trying to make that happen. There's like liability issues for all the universities, and I don't
oh
know.
yeah. Yeah, so that might make it a little bit tougher to bring fighting to the ACHA, but it would definitely make it more interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, it'd make it kind of fun.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
So when you were there, you guys won the national championship in 2021.
My, I think so. Yeah, yeah, 2021 because that was my sophomore year. We won, yeah. So
So was that I get my COVID years mixed up. Was
it was the
COVID
year after COVID because COVID canceled my freshman year. So we
okay?
were ranked number one, and then like a day or two before we were supposed to leave to go to Dallas, they were like, "Yeah, tournament's canceled." So that one kind of sucked because we were pretty confident that year, and we pretty much knew
Yeah,
there
you
wasn't
could have
really.
gone back to
Yeah,
back.
yeah. And then the next year we won, and then everybody was like, "Oh, you guys only won because most of the teams weren't playing or whatever." But like the top five teams in the country were playing, so
Yeah.
like I don't know. People say
So
that doesn't really count, but it does because the best teams in the country still played.
who'd you guys beat to win the national championship?
We beat Minot, so they
There
got
you
a little,
go. That
yeah,
counts.
they got a little redemption on us this year.
I mean, that right there. I mean, you beat the team that's between it's either you guys or mine out is pretty much who's number one each year. Like recently, it
Yeah,
seems.
you get the occasional Liberty get in there a little bit, but
Yeah.
they're a top three team every year, no matter what the rankings say. But their schedule is so hard because they're independent, so they can play whoever they want. So they play us, they play Minot a bunch, they play Ohio a bunch. Like they play all the top 10 teams. They don't play any like crap teams like everybody else does.
So
So
the record doesn't show.
yeah, no, their record does not show how good they are because like this year they were right at or like maybe a little bit above 500 and they were in the top 10 because their wins had been against us, Minot, Ohio, like they were or not Minot, sorry. It was us and like Ohio and like top 10 teams.
Yeah.
But their losses were also against us and Minot and Ohio as well. So like
They'd split series
yeah.
or
Yeah, split series. Like I think we swept. No, we lost in a shootout here and then won. And then I think we won and lost in a shootout there. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was like split or like two wins and a tie for us or something like that.
so do you think it'd be better if like Adrian was an independent because then you guys could play all the best teams and maybe hopefully you'd have still have a good record and it really like he wouldn't be cranking the crap teams anymore.
Yeah,
Or
I
do you
think
do
it
you
would
like
be
do you think it's better to be in the conference?
money wise. I think it's better to be in a conference because I don't think like our team and the school has the money to pay for us to travel all over the country to play. But yeah, I think it would definitely be like better for the team because you'd be playing the better teams all the time and you'd be more prepared for the national tournament and everything. You'd kind of know what you're getting into. Whereas like when we play in the national tournament, we really don't know what we're getting into when we play teams that we haven't played all year.
Yeah. Right.
So
When you've been playing garbage teams, bottom feeders that had no shot,
yeah.
at ever making the national tournament, then it's kind of hard to gauge sometimes.
Yeah, I mean we watch a bunch of film and everything, but it's
Yeah.
not the same as actually being out there and like
Right.
see everything and what they run and how they play, how they forecheck, stuff like that.
So when did the FPHL enter the picture? Like, did you have scouts talking to you this past year down the stretch, or when did
Um,
that all kind of start to become a
I had a
possibility?
I had a few SPHL teams that were like reaching out to our coach throughout the year, and then it came time to like go to the national tournament, and I was set on playing pro no matter what. Like I was like, I'm just gonna go try it because I want to try it. It's always a dream, obviously, to get paid to play hockey. So I knew I was gonna go no matter where like I could go, just like the best option for me. And none of the SP things worked out, and Binghamton called, and they played in an old AHL barn and huge locker room, gym attached. Like it's all AHL facilities, and it's in a good area in New York, so it was just really like the perfect place for me to go.
Right, because there used to be a Binghamton AHL team, right?
Yeah, so there was the Binghamton Senators were there, so they were obviously Ottawa's team, and then the Devils had a team there, and the Rangers had a team there as well. So like the seats are all red and black on the inside still because the Senators, but there was a Calder Cup one there. I mean, there's been hockey there for years, but
Yeah,
the AHL team definitely helped because we have that huge barn and pack it full of fans every night. And yeah.
yeah. A little bit different than some other places in the FP.
Yeah, like Delaware is like a public rink where they get like they pack it and it's loud, but it's like it kind of reminds me of Dryden, Ontario's rink. It's just like cold and not super bright. The boards are stupid hard. They bounce like crazy, and it's just always loud in there. Like no matter what you're doing, it's loud in that rink.
Do you guys have? I mean, it's an old AHL barn, so like is it in good shape? Like the facilities, the locker room, all that
Oh
stuff is
yeah.
in decent shape.
Yeah, everything is in great shape. So like I mean it was the last AHL team was there in 20 I want to say 2017. So
Oh,
it was
okay.
still in like yeah, well
Yeah,
it's not like a stupid old barn, but it's like
yeah.
a few years old.
You
I'm
know, that goalie, he's got the podcast Slanging the Biscuit or whatever, Travis Rigdon. You know who I'm talking about?
Is that Trav for Oilers?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
he
he
played
plays for whatever the Motor City Rockers now.
he used to. I don't know. I don't think he still does.
Okay. Well,
But
he would do like all those like day in the Fed or
yeah.
whatever, and he'd like have the videos. And gosh, their facility is horrible. I mean, like he was in
Oh
the
yeah.
training
Crazy.
room and like the looked like the ceiling was collapsing. And
Yeah, that rink is garbage. We had a roller tournament there last year, and our first game was in Fraser on the sheet that Motor City plays. Like obviously took the ice out and put a floor in, but that rink is just garbage. I
yeah,
actually have
from
a buddy who plays for that team, and he's like, I guess you could say he's their fighter. I mean, it's about all he does. He just works out a bunch. Looks like he's on steroids, but I don't know if he is or not. But he
I think
looks
I know who you're talking about. Somebody
Thompson.
from hmm?
His last name's Thompson.
I don't know. There's a guy who plays for Motor City that's just like shredded out of his mind. That somebody from the UWO club team was telling me I should get on the podcast.
Yeah, that's him, Elias Thompson.
Yeah, that's him. That's the one. That's like you got to get him on the podcast.
Yeah, he played in Thief River with me. He was underage at the time, but
Yeah,
I don't know if
guys.
you saw the I forget what vlog or whatever it was, but Trav Oilers did a vlog, and there was a guy that was going from house to house collecting cans to help like buy food and stuff because he was making league minimum in the Fed. That's him. He was like going from house to house collecting cans from people so he could go return them and get money for food. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I guess you never know what you're gonna find when you're in the Fed.
No, I mean that's just
It,
yeah.
in some ways, it is like Slapshot.
Yeah, it's Motor City is definitely a tough place to play. I would not want to play there. But
What about playing in Danbury?
I actually didn't play that game. I was suspended for the first game, and then I was hurt. I was hurt, but I got suspended in the first game of the series, so I didn't get to play in Danbury, but I was there for game 3. That place is a jungle. That like it's just a
Diamond hands.
yeah, Diamond Hands got the best of me. That's why I didn't play games 2 and 3. But
That guy, he's something else. I want to get him on the podcast. Guy's an animal. He's
yeah,
he is
does not care
yeah.
about anything. He will fight anybody for any reason. That's all he does.
Yeah, that's why he
He's
gets
the most penalized guy in all of pro hockey because he just
yeah.
fights.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh yeah, and then he's in the whatever the bar stool fighting. They're
yeah, he
like,
was in Rough and Rowdy. He beat the
yep.
shit out of some frat guy in Rough and Rowdy. And then
Oh man.
he fought in Ice Wars too. I don't know if you know what
Yep.
that is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because I'm actually next week I should have a guy who fought in Ice Wars on the show. I've been working on getting him on, and I think we're planning on doing it next week. Keegan McGraw, who fought in Ice Wars for a little while, and he played like a couple of games in the Fed. And now he's playing in some like I don't even know what it is. It's a league in Michigan. I don't think he get
Oh,
paid for it.
the MIHL.
Yeah, he's playing in
Yeah, I
that
got some
now.
buddies that play in there. It's literally beer leagues where they like take it
Yeah,
serious. That's all it is.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was trying to figure out what that was. It's like
I don't know if they get paid or not. I don't know what.
maybe they get paid in beer. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
they might get
after
like
a game, there's a couple of
10
kegs in the
bucks and
locker room.
hot and ready in the locker room afterwards. That's
Yeah.
what all you get.
Yeah. But I mean, that Danbury team was, I mean, they had some talent on that team too.
Oh,
I mean,
they were,
I had Brian Wilson, one of their goalies, on, and he's
yeah.
pretty solid. So, I mean, like, you got them, and then, like, you talked about Delaware, just absolute bottom feeder team that's horrible. So, I mean, the Fed's
A few
weird
guys
place.
that were Delaware had a few guys that could play hockey, but yeah,
A few guys that could play hockey.
for the most part, it was just guys that were just kind of out there to be out there.
Yeah, I mean, if you can be out there to be out there and get a little paycheck, I guess. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, why not if you can? But I don't know.
a lot of. Do you think a lot of the guys they're shooting for higher level, like they're trying to impress, so then they can move up, or they just know they're stuck in the Fed?
I think a lot of guys want to move up, but then there's also a lot of guys that are just like content with where they're at. And
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
I don't think they
it's
care.
not like it's not bad hockey. I mean, there's some guys who can put up points and they can.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and then whatever it was, 2 or 3 years ago, Ian White was down there. I mean, for playing. I mean, so you get an NHLer in there, and
yeah, we actually had his contract up until the expansion draft or whatever. We traded it to I think Baton Rouge.
now
We traded somebody for his contract at Motor City when he was with them, and then he wanted too much money, so he just didn't come play for us. And I think he's on loan to the East Coast somewhere or something.
yeah, he was playing in Norfolk.
Yeah.
I had him on a couple episodes ago. Talked to him, and I think he wants to make a return to the show. I think he wants to. I mean, he's still in really good shape for a guy who's like 38 years old. Guy, I think he could still play pretty solid. But I mean, to return to the show, that's tough.
Yeah.
Game has changed since he was in the league. I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
it's changed
a lot. What was that, like 10 years ago maybe now?
Yeah. 2013 was the last year he was in the NHL.
Yeah, so 10 years ago was the last time he played in the NHL, and he's going to make a return. I mean, I hope he does.
That'd be awesome. That'd be a story.
Awesome. Be good for him. But I think it's a little bit harder than he's thinking it is.
Yeah, I think he said he basically, if it doesn't work out, he's just going to play a few more years in the coast and call it good. Like,
might as well.
If you can keep playing, the coast it's solid hockey too. I mean, you get guys going up and down from the A all the time. So
yeah, you get a lot of D1 and very cool D3 that come in, and yeah,
there's a lot of guys from Tech in the coast right now, guys signing coast deals and playing in the coast. So, I mean, that'd be a dream for a lot of guys, just to play your whole career in the coast.
Yeah,
you get some
make
really
good money too. I think.
Oh yeah,
think league minimum is like five something, or like rookie salaries like five something a week.
Yeah.
Plus like housing's all paid for, and
Right. And that's huge.
yeah, the housing is definitely the biggest part of it. Like if you had to pay for housing, the Fed would not exist.
Yeah. So you
But
guys don't have to pay for housing?
no, we our owner owns a apartment complex that's right on a lake, so it's
Oh,
perfect.
that's
It's
nice.
a little, I think it's like 20 something, 25 minutes maybe away from the rink, so it's a little bit of a drive, but it's just yeah.
You're still getting it paid for, and
Yeah, exactly. I don't have to pay for rent, utilities, anything like that. So just gotta pay
right.
for
It
but
wouldn't be worth it
yeah.
otherwise.
No,
There'd be no way guys would do that.
no, because you'd just be losing money at that point. You
Yeah.
wouldn't. I mean, I guess you could work like another job at the same time, but like a lot of
It's
guys don't.
hard.
Yeah,
You can't really, and especially if you're trying to move up, you can't really focus on hockey and work a job and like really devote what you need to move up. And
right.
so, overall, how would you kind of sum up your first 9 games or whatever you played in the Fed?
It was fun. I definitely enjoyed the time that or the games that I played. It was a lot different. Like one thing that actually one of my teammates came with me there. One thing we were talking about that we noticed, like the biggest difference is you have a lot more time with the puck because obviously our ice is bigger. But in the ACHA, you get a lot of guys that just run around and try and hit people all the time and like don't know their positions 100%. So every time you get the puck as a winger, you're rushed and trying to get rid of it before somebody hits you or comes at you. Whereas in the Fed, the D are actually like backing out if you're skating at them, and you got a guy standing in the slot as the third guy high. So you have a lot more time and space with the puck. And the ACHA, there's a lot of guys that are always like so out of position that they're in position. So that happens a lot. I noticed from the ACHA to the Fed, the guys were actually in position so you could make the plays you want to make and not put it right on their tape because they're standing in a spot they shouldn't be.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense with that like club label. You're going to get some guys who aren't awesome at hockey.
Yep.
But then you get into the Fed and you get a lot of top tier D3 guys. You probably have a handful of some D1 guys who played in the SP or guys who played
Oh, yeah.
overseas or on the coast. So, I mean, you've got a really like mix of a lot of guys who know hockey. So that makes sense that'd be a huge kind of
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah, we had a mix of all of that in Binghamton. We had some Oswego guys. One of our goalies played for Princeton. We had a guy who played D2 club for Indiana. I mean, we had a mix of everything. We had guys who played overseas. One of our goalies played a few games for the Marlies in the AHL last year. So I mean, we had
Yeah.
complete opposite sides of the spectrum, but
Oh yeah.
it worked out in our favor, that's for sure.
Yeah. I think that's another thing when people like knock the league, it's like, all right, you've got a guy who played some games in the AHL. Obviously it's not bad hockey. Like you got a guy who was good enough to play in the AHL, no matter how long it was, he's
Right.
playing in the
He
Fed.
still,
Like,
he still made it. Like
yeah, there's a lot of
farther
people
than a
who
lot of
can't
people can
even,
say.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys who only played one NHL game, that's one more than most of us are. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, people would dream for just that one game, that one career game.
Yeah. I
So,
mean,
I mean,
that's all you gotta say is you played in the NHL for one game.
yep.
You could say you made it. Like that's all
Yeah.
you
I
need.
mean, even to be a career AHL guy, like you
Oh,
play 400 or
absolutely.
500 games in the A, like that's a hell of a career.
Absolutely it is. I mean,
I,
even just saying like obviously people shit on the Fed and all that, but like it's still technically pro hockey.
you're still getting paid.
Yeah, you're still making money, not a lot of money, but you're making money to play hockey. So
And you got guys, I know Brian Wilson for Danbury, he had a couple of call ups just to be the third string or whatever,
yeah,
or the second string up to the A, though. I mean, like, they wouldn't call him up if he was a
he
horseshit.
wasn't
Like,
good enough to be there.
yeah.
Right.
So, it's pro hockey. And honestly, I think there's a lot of like there's not that much of a difference between the Fed and the SP and like skill wise. I mean, maybe a slight difference, but it's not a huge jump from the Fed to
No,
the SP. And then from the SP to the coast, it's a little bit of a jump. But I mean, like the Fed's not as far away from the coast as a lot of people think, probably.
no, we had a few guys get loaned and called up and stuff
Yeah.
last year. Like from what I heard, there was guys on loan. And guys will probably go this year and play in the coast, a few of them, and yeah. So I mean, it's not like you said, it's not that big of a jump. It's still like there's a gap there, but it's not as big as people think it is.
Yeah. If you took Danbury, won the league, and then you took a couple of the bottom coast teams, they'd be competitive games.
Oh yeah, I think they'd be close games for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's respectable hockey.
Yeah,
That's
it's not as
it's
bad as people think. Like I
yeah.
definitely had some bad thoughts about it going in, and like I was like, the Fed. Like I was kind of on the fence about it, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it just to say I did it and played pro hockey, and it was definitely a lot better than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah. People just look at like, oh, it's the lowest tier league for pro in North America or whatever. And they just
Yeah.
like think that automatically makes it bad. I mean, I've been guilty of that before. Like you look over in Europe and Germany's got like 4 or 5 leagues or whatever. They got
Oh,
the Dell 2, and then there's Germany 3 and Germany 4. And one of the guys I had on like last year, he plays in the 4th league in Germany. It's good hockey. You get paid.
yeah.
It's still good hockey. Doesn't matter if you're in the 4th league or not. I mean, the level doesn't always necessarily mean it's good or bad.
No, exactly. I mean, you just like people. It's the what, fifth league? Or, yeah, it's the fifth league in North America, so people assume that it's. I see it all the time because like people comment on stuff. They announced a new team in Elmira is moving in because they switched names again for the 15th time because they can't keep a name there. But I was looking through the comments just because I was curious to see, and everybody was talking shit about it, saying, "Oh, it's just glorified beer leagues. Like, get the hockey out of here. Nobody wants hockey. Like, bring back lacrosse, shit like that." And I was just like it's pro hockey. Like either
Yeah.
way.
You throw a couple of beer league guys in there and they just get lit up.
I mean, I
But
was
it's
guilty of it too. I kind of talked like when I was
well,
my
yeah.
first couple years when I first like found out about it and like knew what was going on. I kind of talk shit about it because I mean my
Yeah.
dad has like a bad opinion of it or had a bad opinion of it until he watched because he's got buddies that played in it and stuff. But that was back when it was like
The
literal slap.
FHL.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was back when it was like slap shot style hockey. You guys are two
Mm-hmm.
people
Oh
like
yeah.
it, the Danbury Trasher type days. Like
Yeah.
you saw that documentary on Netflix. That was a good one. But
It's a different league now. I mean, there's still the fighting. It's still more wild than the NHL, but
absolutely it is.
there's also more skill than there
Yeah.
used to be. And
There's
so,
there's more fighting than other leagues, but there's a hell of a lot less fighting than what it used to be.
yeah,
It's
right. And
definitely toned down.
it's probably good for the league because it's got the fighting that people like, but it's also got the skill that the league needs for like people to find it interesting.
Oh yeah. I mean the fans find it interesting either way. They just hammer beers and get to yell at people when they fight, so they love
Yeah.
it.
Hey,
That
that's
that I think is what brings the most fans is the fighting.
yeah. Well, that's what I think is wrong in the NHL. They think they're gonna start losing it here with all this like anti-fighting and less fighting and some of the rules, and you get the refs breaking stuff up like whatever it was, the Kings and the Ducks were playing, and I think Copley went to fight Gibson and the refs stopped it. Like, come
Yeah.
on, how often do we get a good goalie fight? People
Oh
would
yeah.
love that.
Well,
People
there
would
was the
love that.
one with was it Flurry and Bennington, and
Yeah.
people trying to go at it, and Flurry
Yeah.
was going to push the ref out of his way, and the ref wouldn't let him go.
Yeah. Oh,
But
Bennington's he's an animal. That guy's
yeah,
a menace.
he is fun. He's fun to watch, though. He makes
Yeah.
it more interesting because he just does dumb shit, but it's
He's
fun.
kind of like the like Matthew Tkachuk of goalies. Like in a way, he's
I would
kind of
say
got
more
that.
more Brad Marchand than
Oh yeah, yeah,
Doug.
yeah. he's just one of those guys that's a menace on the ice.
Oh
But
yeah.
you need that in the game. Otherwise,
It makes it not as interesting.
yeah.
People lose interest if it's just like if there was no like conflict in hockey, it wouldn't be interesting. Like
No.
people like obviously like the diehard hockey fans that enjoy the game would still watch it. Like the players would still watch it and stuff.
Yeah.
Like the drunk idiots that just watch hockey just for the conflict and the fighting and all that stuff would just lose interest and stop watching.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it makes the game safer in a lot of ways too. If you know if I make this dirty hit on somebody, I'm gonna get pummeled by their fighter, you're not gonna make that dirty hit anymore.
Oh yeah.
So you take that fighting out, you're gonna have guys throwing more cheap shots, and then guys are really gonna get hurt.
Yeah, I think yeah. I think they haven't thought about it enough. They like the people who are trying to get hockey out of it don't think that way. They
Yeah.
just think like, oh, it's bad for you to fight and like you get hurt more. But in reality, like you said, it saves injuries. Like
Right.
I think there would be more people getting hurt if they banned fighting.
Yeah,
Because
because you'd have all
nobody
these guys just headhunters, cheap shots,
yeah,
and there'd be no punishment.
yeah.
I mean, maybe
Nobody
they'd get a
throw
penalty,
stands
but
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the NHL in the next couple of years.
Yeah. Let's hope they don't change the fighting, but you never know with the
Hey,
way
just draw more fans to the Fed.
yeah, there we go. We'll get even more fans.
Yeah. All right. So in non-hockey stuff, you're into bull riding.
Yeah.
That's one I haven't seen yet.
Yeah. I've only done it for about a year, a little over a year now. I don't even know I always wanted to do it when I was a kid. I grew
Yeah.
up watching the PBR and stuff, like World Finals, like all that stuff just was I'm a huge adrenaline junkie. So we found out that there was a rodeo in Adrian here, like down the street from school, and it's $5 to get in, and you can just walk in with a full case. Like they don't say anything. And I went, figured out you could ride a bull. Didn't have any cash on me the first week, so I went back the next week with cash because they only take cash and rode, and yeah, been riding ever since. Been on uh, been on a couple that have been to the World Finals. That didn't go very well for me, but didn't say I did it. So
Yeah. Hey,
yeah,
that's an interesting hobby to have.
yeah, it's a lot of people think I'm really stupid for doing it, but I don't know. I enjoy it. It's fun. I met a lot of really great people doing it, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey, you got to do what makes you happy.
there's worse things I could be addicted to. That's
Oh,
for sure.
there are definitely worse things that could be way more detrimental or way dumber than bull riding.
Yeah, not according to my dad. He
Well,
thinks
you're not doing any of those other things, so
right.
if you
He
start
thinks
doing those, then he'd be like, oh.
yeah, he thinks it's pretty stupid, and I'm an idiot for doing it. But
Well, isn't that what parents always think?
oh yeah,
I
but might as
mean,
well do it while I still can. So,
exactly.
so my body doesn't let me anymore.
Right. You're also pretty big into hunting and fishing based on your Insta. You got a lot of stuff. Well, you
Yeah.
got a
I mean, as you
couple of
can
mounts
see,
behind you right
yeah,
there on the
I
wall.
got
Yeah.
I got those two, and then
Oh yeah.
I got that's the one from last year's got my jersey on it, and I just got hats on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I grew up in the middle of nowhere. I actually grew up in Gregory, which is like right down the street from Pinckney, but I went to Pinckney schools. And then when I was in fifth grade, maybe fifth or seventh, something like that, my parents got divorced, so I moved out of like the country and moved. Dad moved onto the lake. Mom moved across the street from a lake, so didn't get to be out in the country anymore. But I grew up hunting and fishing and doing all that sort of stuff, and didn't get really big into hunting until I was like probably 17 when I first really started hunting. And then that one right above my head is my first ever buck. Actually, yeah, that was my first deer because I didn't recover the other one. That one was my first deer, and I shot that one in Minnesota when I was playing out there. And then the other three I shot over here in Adrian actually. So
You find a lot of guys, through juniors or with Adrian or whatever that also hunt and fish.
no, found
No?
a lot of guys like to fish, but not like I do. So guys don't go out as much, and a few guys here and there hunt. Actually, one of the guys from Binghamton and I are trying to plan a trip out west to go do some elk hunting.
Oh yeah, there you
But
go.
yeah, for the most part, there isn't really any like. There's a few guys that kind of hunt a little bit, but nobody like really hunts like me. And then like when I was up in Larange in the SJ, there was a lot of guys that fished. So that's like all we did. We'd go to practice, we'd go to the liquor store after practice, and then we'd just go find a lake to fish because anything north of that town is just a dirt road. It's like a road they haul stuff to like the mines up there.
Oh,
And there's just all sorts of little lakes everywhere along that road, so you can just pick a different one every day and go fish. That's what we did for 9 months.
hey, it's not a bad life to live.
No, not at all. I definitely enjoyed it, but
Yeah, you miss it, I'm sure.
oh yeah, I missed the juniors aspect of everything and just being able to play hockey and go fish afterwards or go do whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, a little bit different than playing at college.
Yeah.
Having to go to class and
Yeah, I didn't do too much of that. Yeah, skipped a little
hey,
more than I probably should, but
you made it through.
yeah, almost.
Oh,
I gotta finish my internship this summer and then I'm done. That's all I got left. So thank God. I get a piece of paper that says I spent a lot of money and a lot of
yeah,
time at this
yeah.
one spot.
There's a lot of people who say you don't have to go to college to be successful.
Oh no, absolutely not. If it wasn't for hockey, I wouldn't have gone to school at all. I would have went into a trade of some sort.
Hey, there's that's where the good money is nowadays too. There's
Oh
not
yeah.
enough people in the trades.
Yeah, nobody wants to do that anymore. You
Yeah.
can
So,
if you're good enough at what you do in the trades, you can name your own price at
oh
whatever you
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
ridiculous.
It is. What kind of music do you like? I mean, if I had to guess, I'd guess country, but I don't want to like be that stereotype guy who's like he likes to hunt and
No,
fish and he's from the middle of nowhere. He likes country.
no, you're not wrong. It's country and like rock. I'm not a huge rap and pop guy,
Yeah.
but
Hey, that's all right. Now I don't get many people on here who say they like okay, the people who say they like rock, like I don't know, episode I haven't posted yet. She's like, I listen to heavy metal when I'm warming up. I said, okay, like what? And she said Thunderstruck by ACDC. And I'm like, that's not what I think of when I think of heavy metal. Like that's just
no.
classic rock.
Yeah, that's more classic. I listen to heavy metal like before games and stuff, but it's
Yeah.
like Slipknot
Oh
and
yeah.
Crew and Five Finger Death Punch, like shit like
Yes,
that.
sir. Yeah, I'm going to see Five Finger Death Punch and I Prevail at the end of July. So I'm pretty psyched
Ooh,
about
yeah,
that.
that'll be a good one, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
like
you
that.
know, finally somebody who speaks my language with that kind of music. I mean, I like everything. I'll listen to like some soft rock from the 70s or
Yeah.
like 50s or something, but country, pop, not much rap, a lot of metal. But like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you like modern country or is it too poppy for you?
Yeah, some of it. More like the Zach Bryan type country.
Yeah.
Modern stuff is like a lot of Morgan Wallen, but it's not all of it because the
He's not I've said this many times on this podcast. I don't think he's country. I think he's a pop singer with a country vibe because like some of
yeah,
his songs it's like, okay, that sounds like rap. Okay, this sounds like pop. Like it's
yeah,
not really country anymore. Some of his older stuff is, but like his
yeah.
newest album is not really country. That's why he's selling out all of
So,
his
some
shows
of it
like
is, some of it isn't. It just yeah. He's kind of all over the place with where he's at for music, but
yeah.
uh
That's why like yeah, some of it's country, but he's not like really a true country singer.
no,
Like
I don't
he's
not
like a
anymore.
hybrid. He's a
Yeah.
hybrid.
He's turning more into like a pop country type guy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who else. Do you know who Warren Zeiders is? I listen to him,
Mm-mm.
but he's more like he's like rock country. Hardy is a good one. He's mostly rock country, and then I think there's a bunch of people that I have like one or two songs from.
Do you listen to older country then?
Oh yeah, Waylon
George
Jennings,
Strait.
Willie Nelson, yeah,
Oh, like that
great.
old. Good, good.
Yeah,
I don't run across many people who like that stuff either. Merle Haggard, and I
yeah.
mean,
No, half they only know Johnny Cash. That's the only one they'll
yeah,
know.
you talk about classic country and people they don't know anything.
Yeah,
You
you talk
know.
about Highwaymen and nobody would know
Oh
any.
yeah,
Nobody could even tell you who they are.
the
But
Highwayman. That's some good stuff there.
yeah, that's old country. Nobody listens to that really.
Don Williams, and I mean, you can go on and on. I
Oh
love me
yeah,
some old country, and then I don't know. I really like '90s country too. Toby Keith. Well, he
yeah.
gets into some of his stuff. The 2000s is good, but like
2000s, oh, yeah.
Clay Walker and
Randy
Tracy
Travis.
Bird and
Yeah,
different
I
like.
guess Randy Travis might have been
Oh
eight,
yeah,
the early '90s.
Randy Travis is my favorite country singer of all time. I love Randy Travis.
I
I
still think
to,
George Strait it can't be beaten. I don't
I mean,
think.
he can't be beaten if you look at the numbers. I just like Randy Travis better,
Well,
to
yeah,
be
I'm just saying,
honest.
like personally, I don't think anybody tops George Strait for me.
I
That's
mean, you can't go wrong with George Strait. The guy's
no,
had whatever, like what, 60 number ones or some crazy. It's
something
probably more
crazy.
than that now.
Yeah,
It's
I don't even know if he's still making music or not. I haven't heard anything about him in years.
I feel like probably not anything recently, but
I know Alan Jackson put out a new one a couple
did he
years.
really?
I think he put out a new song or a new album a few years ago.
I guess I haven't listened to anything since like Chattahoochee or
Yeah.
Don't Rock the Jukebox or the whatever the one with Jimmy Buffett is. 5 o'clock somewhere. That's
Yeah.
yeah. No, I that's country. That's true country. Not
Oh yeah. There's a few newer ones that are like true country,
yeah. But
but
they're
like
not as they don't get the mainstream looks that
no, the people don't listen to them. It's like
yeah.
stuff that you hear from a friend of a friend. Like it's just like passed down like that. Like
Right.
it's all word of mouth
Then
stuff or like social media. They're not getting played on the radio.
yeah, exactly. They're just playing Luke Combs and Morgan Wallen and Kane Brown or whatever on the radio. I mean,
Lainey
that's
Wilson,
yeah.
she's all over it. Every time I look at Instagram or Twitter, that's all I see is stuff about her.
Yeah, somebody going to one of her concerts or it's I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't
Always
know.
for it. Like I think she's got a good voice, but I'm not a huge fan of her music. A few,
Yeah.
but not many. But
Yeah, uh I wouldn't pay to go see a lot of those people. I
no,
mean, if they had a free
really not.
concert somewhere, I'd go to it, but
I
I
paid
wouldn't.
enough to go to Faster Horses and see Morgan Wallen and Jaco and Tim McGraw last year, so I think
Yeah,
I'm
there you go.
good on spending money for concerts like that for a little while at least. Unless for
So if
some
you
George Strait and Alan Jackson go on tour, then I might spend all my money to go see those two.
if you could go see anyone for free, all inclusive paid front row seats, who would you see? Any band or artist ever. I mean, they could be dead now, but like you
I
could
was
like
gonna
see
say
them in
Dead or
concert.
Alive.
Yeah. Anyone ever. Who would you pick?
Anyone ever? Probably have to be George Strait. I think that would be
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe Johnny Cash. I saw Motley Crue, so that one really doesn't count.
Hey,
They sucked in concert. They were
really? When did
yeah
you see them?
last year.
Oh
So
yeah, I've heard their recent concerts. There's like Vince Neil doesn't even seem like he gives a shit anymore. He's just
it's not even that. He just like he's never on beat. He's either way ahead of the song or way behind, and he's sucking wind every time because he's got the mic right in his mouth and he can't breathe. And then they didn't even like everybody else on stage got like close-ups, like they like pan the camera right in front of their face, except for Mick Mars because he's a fucking bag of bones right now and can hardly stand up, but he can still play the guitar like hell. But like, yeah,
did you see them by themselves or did they have somebody open for them or
so they were the closer. It was like the stadium tour. I went in Cleveland last year. It was Joan Jett, Poison.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing about
Leppard
that.
and Motley Crue, and Def Leppard
Yeah.
was unreal. They were the
Yeah,
best,
I've heard they're good.
which is amazing because they're all old as shit, and
Yeah.
their
Then
drummer
there's
plays the drums barefoot. Like he just sits on stage barefoot in his shorts and t-shirt. And
that's crazy.
they're all really old, and they all sound great still.
Yeah.
Can't say the
Yeah,
same.
I've seen some like a couple months ago I saw 38 Special, and those guys, their lead singer 70, his voice was unreal. And I don't know if you've ever, do you know who Tesla is? It's like 80s rock band.
Sounds familiar. I probably heard.
You've probably heard their songs. That guy was like 72 or something like that. It was late 60s or something. And his voice was just, again, unreal, because that's always the worry. You see somebody who's a little bit older and they just like
Yeah.
lose their voice. And
Well, it's also like all the like the voice training and stuff like that
yeah,
they've done throughout their lives. And then if they're like Ozzy Osbourne and Motley Crue and they've done every drug under the sun for their entire
yeah,
life, then they're
yeah,
like go to shit. But like if they take care of themselves for the most part and don't
yeah.
party as hard, then they might have a chance at making it to 70 and being able to perform.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on this episode of the podcast and just bullshitting for a little bit.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So.